We're live. We're live.
We're
live.
How you folks doing this morning?
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
When someone's going to have a party, or they're going to take a vacation, and they know their vacation is coming up, they very often do this thing called plan for the vacation or organize the party. They decide who's going to do what and where and when. They decide on a location. They decide a route to it if it's going to be a trip. They make plans on how to do the party and how to do the trip. And very often as adults, we make no plans at all about the rest of our lives. No plans about how we're going to achieve our goals, no plans on anything. And the chapter we're going to cover today is on chapter 1. It's called Organized Planning. Organized Planning.
Absolutely.
The fifth principle.
The sixth principle. Chapter 7.
The sixth principle, chapter 7, just like Lisa said, is on organized planning. And it covers a lot of ground.
It does.
In this chapter.
It really does.
So that's what we're going to talk about today.
We're going to talk about it, and we will discuss it along with our thoughts on the subject in just a moment. Back in a moment.
Good morning. My name is Brian McNeill.
And I am Lisa Santiago McNeill.
And thank you for joining us on our show, Let's Talk About It. We come to you each Monday through Friday right here on the SIBN network, on iHeartRadio, YouTube, TuneIn, as well as Facebook Live. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Like. I don't know where the good came from. You been to the club?
Really? No, don't let it start with me. Glitter all over you last night.
I don't have anything with glitter.
I don't like glitter.
I don't know what it is.
Oh my goodness.
I glitterified you.
Man.
I'm sorry. So, welcome to the show this morning. Let's talk about it. Our subject is, as we continue the journey through Think and Grow Rich, we've covered the first 5 principles in the book that have been really a journey. And today's principle number 6, is organized planning. Now, organized planning is actually very, very complicated in that. Good morning, Sister Barbara. Sometimes we think that we know how to manage the entire plan. Sometimes you get the vision, but you don't have the ability to make the plan. Yeah. Not only the ability to make the plan, sometimes we don't even have the willingness to make a plan. Now, absolutely. Good morning, Sister Phyllis. Good morning, Sister Barbara. Good morning, Shirley Dejanette White. It's Fabulous Thursday. Thank you very much. Yeah. I actually had to ask the smart speaker what day today was because I was messed up. I remember the date. I didn't know what day of the week it was. We are getting so dependent on the smart speaker and our cell phones. It's nuts. Okay. So organized planning. I like it a whole lot, the chapter, because it covers a lot of ground. It covers things like leadership. A lot of things on leadership, and some of those are so. I actually wrote down some of those things that it covers. Also covers with, a plan for your life, and not for the sake of rigidness. I looked at it again this morning. Not for the sake of rigidity, having a plan for everything. Definitiveness. Yes, and a track to run on. Absolutely. I like having an idea of what I'm going to do first, second, and third. And according to Think and Grow Rich, you gotta have it, or you're gonna end up somewhere else. It's important, but understand it is not everyone's wheelhouse to be the organizer of the plans. First sip of coffee. I can't smell it. I don't want to smell it. Smell it. You can smell it. You can smell it. Yeah. Does it smell good? No. Yes, it does. Mm-mm. Oh, it smells black. Duh. That's how I take my coffee. Thank you, Barbara. Sister Barbara says, great job on the gazebo, guys. We did the gazebo. We got to get the tie downs for it. Thank you, Sister Barbara. Fly away. Well, we have some stakes in it, but we don't have the weighted bags or the the tie downs. Yes, or the tie downs. We don't have those on there yet. But Sister Barbara, we got a big box. And actually, Lisa won an auction for it. It took some organized planning. Yes. Understand that my husband
thoroughly enjoyed the gazebo that we had for the first year of our time in our home.
Yes.
And it was a wonderful addition to our home, actually, this outside space. However, the inclement weathers came down on it, snow came down and broke the gazebo down, and we didn't replace it for a year. So we went through a summer without the gazebo. And it really was not as we did not have as much usage of our backyard, and we have a humongous backyard because we didn't have the gazebo,
the overhead shelter.
We didn't have the overhead shelter. That's going to make you lose fall. That's going to make you lose spring. That's going to make you lose summer. We actually did not use it because it was too cold, too wet, or too sunny, too anything. But because I knew that he really enjoyed it from a standpoint of he enjoys being outside having a cigar, and I enjoy being outside to just be outside, I actually put in my mind I want to get another gazebo. But looking at the cost, I wanted it to be cost effective. Looking at the ability to set it up, and I am grateful that I actually never left that from my mind. So it started from imagination. It started from deciding in my mind what I wanted to accomplish for my husband. And this weekend, which was our anniversary weekend, I actually went on, starting on Friday, I actually went on an auction and I began bidding and searching for a particular gazebo that I knew that my husband would like. And I lost the auction 2 times, but I persevered and it came up again. And the third time I actually won the auction, about 25% of the actual cost that it would have cost to be retail. And then the last gazebo, we hired someone to put it together. But this time, after watching the videos, reading the reviews, looking at the instructions, discussing it with my husband, this is all part of organized planning, we actually decided to embark upon going outside and putting it together ourselves, which we did.
That was a fantastic organized breakdown of everything, baby.
That was.
The reasoning behind it. That was really, really an amazing summary / breakdown / process delivery. That was great.
Good morning, Evan. That's actually Mr. what you Evan do Jefferson. With organized plannings. I do that every day, and I'm grateful that we have this topic today, because organized planning can be something as small or as great depending on where it is in your life. Every day I plan, what am I going to feed my husband? What am I going to eat? What do we have in the refrigerator already? What do we need to go get? What do we need to take out? What do we need to chop up? All of those things are organized planning, but you had to start with a definitive goal.
Yeah.
And the goal was how I'm going to feed my husband.
And get the gazebo. I really enjoy listening to your breakdown of that, baby. Now, Lisa's right. When not only did she get in her mind that we didn't want to go another summer without it, because she saw how much her husband enjoyed it. And I was there. I was out there all the time. Okay. The last one we had, day and night. I was out there all the time. And
he loved to bring company.
We had company come over. We didn't do any of that last summer. No. Not outside anyway. No. We had dinner guests, but not like that.
Sometimes I don't want to feed people. If I'm bringing them to the gazebo, I don't have to feed them.
We can pour them drinks.
That's it.
Or get them a cigar or something like that. But that was really good. But I want to say something about the actual construction of it. Now, Lisa and I, we both are willing to learn before we do. Okay, so we read the reviews on it. We watched the videos on it. We watched a couple of videos on it. We even watched videos on other types of gazebos, how husband and wives put them together.
That were not particularly the same exact one,
right?
But the process.
So we watched those things. We read the instruction manual and the instructions on it. We read it more than one time. And then we laid everything out before we started to go to work. Make sure we had
inventory.
Make sure we had everything we needed. So we had done the research. We knew all these things. And by the time we went out back with it, now we also we knew it was going to start raining. it was also gray and it was going to rain. And we wanted it out there before the rain.
So we had a timeline. But understand, those are the definitenesses of the things that we had, that we wanted. But we also came up with some moments that we could have experienced rigidity. And then in the process of seeing, look, we're up against rigidity. Do we want the gazebo or do we want to be right?
Go with it, baby. Go.
Sometimes you have to do this. Sometimes you have to take a step back and just let the process figure out itself. It may take an extra minute or two on the front end, but usually in the long run, when you allow for some slack in the process, you will come to a place where you can continue to move forward together.
Yeah, there was a couple of places that the instruction manual let us down to me. Okay, there was like a couple of places. Okay, what do they mean by this? What's this or that? And we had to figure it out. Okay, now we're covering, we're continuing our journey through the classic book, Think and Grow Rich, and we're on principle number 6, organized planning.
But we're utilizing a real life experience that most people can relate to that will actually help to drive home the importance of organized planning.
Now, we had the instruction manual, but it let us down. It didn't cover everything. How many of you know you can have a great business plan? And there's no business plan ever been written that's going to cover every contingency.
Absolutely.
And the stuff that comes up, because the business plan can't predict the future.
You've got to have some flexibility.
Yes.
And understand it's got to be flexibility for the learning curve, because whomever wrote those instructions probably didn't just write them without ever having put together the gazebo. So there may have been things that they took for granted. There may have been things that they expected everybody knew.
Well, I also think there's something about for their attempt to make it seem like it's just so easy. They left some stuff out.
I was about to say, absolutely. When I was working for IBM, we used to do kits with children. Robotics is one of them specifically, where we had to work with the kids to get them to create the code for the robots. Now, in order to do that, we had to help to drive home the importance of each little step. And we used to do what's called PB&J, peanut butter and jelly. And they had to write the steps before we went to coding. You had to write the steps for making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yes.
And you had to write these steps for someone who's never made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich before.
That's great exercise.
They may not know what a peanut butter and jelly comes in. They may not know if it comes in a jar or in a box. They may not know that they have to open the jar before they can make the sandwich. They may not know that they have to scoop it out. And you had to put every one of these steps in this, they had to write an essay in this essay of instructions. They had to put every one of these steps before we could proceed to the coding.
Okay.
So pick up the jar with 2 hands, hold it with your left hand, screw it with your right hand, clockwise to the right to open the jar of peanut butter.
Counterclockwise to open.
Counterclockwise. That's right. Counterclockwise. Absolutely. See the importance of that? And then take it off, put the top down, pick up a knife. What kind of knife? A serrated knife, a butter knife, a steak knife.
No.
All of these things had to be expressly written out. And then we tested it over and over again by giving someone who didn't write the instructions, and they had to do it specifically as the instructions said.
Man, two things came to mind when you was talking about that. One is a stand-up comedian we both like called Sebastian Maniscalco. He talks about being in line behind someone in Subway who acts like they've never made a sandwich before.
Hey, Monica!
You know, it's like, what do you have to do first? What do you have to do first? He's like, what do you mean? What do you have to do first? It says right there, pick bread. You know, how do you make a sandwich at home? What do you do? Just throw the meat on the table and hope something happens? No, it's the same thing as home. Get your bread.
That's right, Dr. Deborah. Good morning. Absolutely. She says, now that's a great statement. Do I want it or do I just want to be right? And sometimes being right is more important.
Yeah, well, sometimes.
And it shouldn't be, but sometimes it is.
Brian Regan, another comedian we like, he talks about he read a box of Pop-Tarts and it had instructions on how to make Pop-Tarts. instructions. They had two types of instructions. One's with a conventional toaster, and one's the microwave instructions. Okay, how to microwave Pop-Tarts. Put in microwave on high for 3 seconds is what it said, something like that. And he couldn't believe it was more than one step. Okay, things like open the Pop-Tart, take it out of the foil.
No,
that's what it said.
Please understand, my children are the children that made them make that instructions, because there have been several times I walked into the kitchen and my microwave is popping because they put the Pop-Tarts in the microwave with the sleeve on it.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
But so, common sense is not so common.
Organized planning. Most people, again, spend more time planning a party than they do their lives.
Absolutely.
So Lisa got her organized planning checklist cheat sheet.
Absolutely. Many of those were leadership qualities, like you said, and they did cover leadership in them. But I want to say that in organized planning, in everything that you do, there is some level of organized planning. And one of the things, I wish you didn't, I'm glad you enjoy that. I'm glad you enjoy your in anything that you do, in everything that you do, organized planning will help you to do it better. Organized planning is a critical part of the manifestation process. You have the 5 steps, which are reflection, evaluation, projection, and then specification and clarification are when your organization really kicks in. When do you want it? And what else do you need to get it? Those are going to be critical parts of the organizational planning process. Before you embark on writing a book, before you launch the project, before you do anything, you've got to decide, begin with the end in mind.
5 minutes of planning even prevents a piss poor performance. The one who thinks it out a little bit. Having a business plan, I used to eschew it. Okay. I used to eschew it because I believe in the Corridor principle. Once you have an overarching theme about where you want to go, once you start walking down a path, you'll see stuff that you couldn't see when you first started. That's my point. Okay. Mm-hmm. However, I've noticed even in littler things or smaller things, like a live I'm going to give, when I have a plan about what I intend to, and you know what, unwittingly, I've been doing it every time, because I always write out bullet points, notes of what I want to cover every time. And this show today, what did we do today? I did my research on the topic downstairs with my breakfast. Lisa did her research upstairs too, and she actually printed off her notes today too. So we prepared like we always do.
Absolutely. Okay. And you prepare with some foundational information. Understand the preparation is often just to bring it to fruition, because you've got to have some of those things in you already. We had to already have the experience of putting up the gazebo. We couldn't create that. Well, we could have imaginarily created it, but the impact of it is a lot more impactful because it was a real experience. One of the things I thought
about that too. The last gazebo we had before this one is actually bigger than the last one we had. Mm-hmm. But the last one was pretty strong too. But it cost us about $300 something bucks, the last one we had. And it was a bunch of stuff that you had to screw together.
A whole bunch of pieces.
A lot of pieces. So I hired someone to assemble it for us. And that cost me about $300 as well. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I paid $600 to be able to use the room, but it was well worth the money. This one here, Lisa got it for a fraction of what we paid for the first one. Mm-hmm. A fraction. She wanted it at an auction. And we put it together ourselves. And this particular one was designed that you could put it together yourself.
Absolutely. And take it down, which is what I ultimately wanted, to be able to take it down in inclement weather and in the winter months, because I don't want it to be destroyed like the last one.
The last one got battered twice. It got its butt kicked by Mother Nature first time. We put it together and rubber gum and Band-Aids and put it back up, and Mother Nature knocked it out again. So where was I going to go with that? Okay, I don't know. But anyway, the same thing. We put it together that way. Good morning again, Sister Judy. It's now 9:18. We're doing pretty good.
Absolutely. Sister Barbara says things work when you plan a situation, then fail to plan a situation. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. And that came up in that book too. The expression, plan your work
and work your plan.
Yes. Plan your work and work. I mean, he's got his work cut out for him. Remember from the fable that story, that lion comes and has his work cut out for him. You know, it was like the cobbler in his shoes, and it's like elves would come in at night and lay out all the shoes. And I mean, no, he would lay it all out, and the elves would assemble the shoes at night and all that kind of stuff. He would lay out what they had to get done. You know, the work was laid out, so the other would just put it together. You know.
Amen. Some people have different levels of organization, and it's important that you and I get to see what level you are on and respect the level that you're on. Like, for example, Sister Judy's level of organization is way up here. For my level of organization, she is very specific in a lot of details, but I have a bird's eye view oftentimes. I know what the outcome is, and I can show where I want it to be, but I'm not as detail oriented. I paint with a broad brush, more abstract than some people. And depending on what you're creating or what you're endeavoring to create, you may need a broad brush or a small brush.
We've had to both learn to be more detail oriented because we'd rather decide on the desired outcome and let it happen. Okay, decide on what we want to see happen and take steps towards it, and have confidence that it will work itself out. As long as we know where we're going, okay, we'll get there. What we're trying to get done.
Absolutely.
But we've had to learn that very often that'll put you in trouble. You need some organized planning.
One of the things Brian and I have toyed with, or Brian has toyed with it more than I, is we've often been approached at teaching on relationships or teaching or giving a talk on all these things. Well, we can teach what we know, and actually every relationship is not what we really know. We know how to we know about entrepreneurial relationships, and we know about this relationship. If we were to endeavor to give a talk on it, we would first have to identify what it is that we want to imply.
Mm-hmm. And what do we want to cover?
What do we want to cover?
Who we want in the audience?
Who is the audience? Yep. And what is the outcome? What's the takeaway that we want them to have when we leave that?
I do think we could do that as a retreat and all that. Look at it.
And I don't want to do that as a retreat. You say that every time, but
I do say that anyway, every time.
Yeah, you say that every time. But understand that it is important to understand what the outcome is. Now, I get a phone call. I could say at least once a week, I want to talk. Do you have something to say? I want to be a speaker. Or this was even amazing. I have to give a talk tomorrow. Can you tell me what I should say?
I get that talk too. Can you give me some tips? I got to give a speech in the morning. Can you give me some tips?
What are you talking about? Who are you talking to? Are they paying you? Or are they not paying you? Are they expecting you to leave the audience a certain way? Or are you just there to share your story?
I give them 3 tips every time. You want to know my 3 tips on how to give a great speech? Do you want to know? My 3 tips on how to give a great speech. 3 tips. Step number 1, research your topic very well. Know it inside and out. Okay? That's it. Research your topic very well. Know it inside and out. Step number 2, make cue cards or make bulletized name words. So you can say put a word down, you know what you're going to cover. You put down a tree, you know you're going to talk about the story about Gary Spence hugging the tree named Luann. Okay, that kind of thing. But give yourself some cues and study it real good. And then write out the whole speech. Write it out, everything that you want to cover in your speech. Memorize your speech. And then leave all your notes and stuff at your chair. And on your way up to the lectern, focus on how do you want the audience to feel when you're done? You know, how do you want them to feel when you're done? Do you want them to feel, I'm ready to take action? Do you want them to feel happy? Do you want them to feel sad? Do you want them to feel angry? How do you want them to feel when you're done with your talk? If you think about how you want them to feel and you know you have the information in front of you, the talk will deliver it the right way by focusing on the right thing. No great sermon was ever delivered the way the minister wrote it out. Okay. You gotta, once you know it, wrote it down, studied it, and delivered it, focusing on their feelings.
That's interesting. I think that's interesting. That's interesting, and that's one way to do it. Mm-hmm. That really is. But you have to decide, or again, begin with the end in mind. Organized planning. Which book was Begin with the End in Mind?
7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yeah, I couldn't remember.
The 7 habits, and that's early. That's like the first or second habit.
Because it is imperative.
Begin with the end in mind.
Absolutely.
Before you even started, how do you want this to look when it's done?
It's imperative.
You got to have that in mind. Okay. Peter Drucker in the book Search of Excellence, he says people make a cake and all that kind of stuff from the beginning to the end, but building a business should be done the opposite way. People read a book from the beginning to the end, but building a business, you should begin with how you want it to work when it's working right. When the business is going good, what does it look like? That's what you should be thinking about. When everything is working the way you want it to work, what is going on actually?
That's actually how architects have to work as well.
Yeah. Architecture is a beautiful profession to me because they have to factor in more than design and materials. They also got to factor in weather, okay, and those kind of things, wind, okay. What happens when it rains on this architecture structure or this bridge or whatever? It's fascinating.
Weather, wind, weight,
yeah,
all of those things are going to have to be a part of their organized planning. What are you planning? What are you planning?
So many skyscrapers are built with the idea that they have to bend a little bit. Did you know that? The tall buildings know they're going to bend a little. Wow, that's fascinating to me. Okay.
They do have to bend, they have to sway. And I lived in a building that was 43 stories high for much of my life. Years, much of my developmental years, probably from the time I was 6 until I was 16.
Okay.
And you don't believe that the buildings are moving. You don't see them moving, but they are.
They do. Just like trees, the trees in the forest. You know, the ones that can sway with the wind and bend a little bit, those trees end up becoming big and strong. The ones that get to the place of rigidity, they break and die.
The reason why I know that infinite intelligence created this world is because there are so many things that we would not have even thought of its impact on another thing that had to be known and considered long before the earth was ever made.
Yeah. The butterfly effect highlights that so well. The butterfly effect. Are you familiar with the butterfly effect? A butterfly effect means a butterfly flapping its wings in Singapore, Japan, can start the ripple of waves and wind that can cause a hurricane in Oklahoma.
And a tsunami in California.
And a tsunami. That butterfly effect, that little small innocuous thing can cause some major things somewhere else. Okay? It's an amazing, and you know that's true. You know that's true.
So every little thing that you do, you get to realize that every little thing that you do is important. Everything that you bring to this universe is important.
Last night I did a live training with 18 women. Okay, it was 18 women on there, and this is my third time with this particular group. I did a training on Dr. Deborah, and everything I say to them, it's the first time they ever heard it. It seems like to them. You know, that newness, their willingness to sign up for, they signed up for these workshops here, and everything that comes out of our mouth, it's the first time they ever heard it. And it's really kind of refreshing, too, that they appreciate it so much.
Good morning, William Brown. Thank you for joining us this morning. I'm grateful, very, very grateful that you guys are joining us this morning. But we do believe that with the things that we read, the things that we study, the attachments that we have to some amazing people that we can bring on and bring their intelligence and excellence to the forefront, it really needs to reach as far as it can.
So of your notes, what are you going to share? Any of it?
We've been sharing it.
Oh, I thought you were going to. Did you not put down a list of the leadership qualities and all that?
Yes, I did.
Where is it?
It's right here.
Okay. We've got to at least say what they list in the book, or at least some of them.
If you would like to.
Okay. All right.
But I was actually making a point.
Go ahead, make your point.
As much as we bring to the channel, to the network, the Empowerment Network, we know that what we're learning, what we're reading, what we're ingesting and putting out, regurgitating, is something that is impacting the lives of those that watch us. If you agree, we need your help.
Okay.
We need your help. One of the things that I need help with is extending our reach. We really need to help to get this message, this show, this broadcast to a farther audience. What does that mean? That means we need your help. Now, we have some simplistic things that you can do. Obviously, you can like, share, comment, as you guys do. But if you have any insights or any ideas on what else we could do to take it further, please, please, please reach out and share it with me.
Amen. Definitely. Thank you. That's a great, great thought. Because why keep this to ourselves? We do want to expand our reach there.
Dr. Deborah says, I have to remember this every time I'm aggravated by an insect. They have a place in the plan also.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Barbara says, glad
to have started joining you guys.
We're grateful that you're joining as well.
Speaking of which, today is Thursday. Last night was Wednesday, and playoff basketball was on last night. And the New York Knicks won. Okay. And I didn't get to see any of the game because I was doing my workshop, but they won. So they won their first round series 4-1. It was the best 4 out of 7. The Knicks won 4-1. So now they're going to the second round of the playoffs, and they'll be facing the Miami Heat with Jimmy Butler. They're going to be coming to New York, and that game doesn't start till Sunday. The Lakers lost last night, so that means they got to play an extra game. Okay, something Lisa's got going on happens in 30 minutes. One of her appointments, I guess, because the smart speaker just said so. But tonight and tomorrow and Saturday, tonight starting at 8 p.m. is the NFL draft. Okay, the NFL draft starts tonight. Only the first round. Now, in the first round, they get up to 10 minutes in between each pick. And the first round is 31 teams get the pick, and it's going to last about 4 hours. And the Giants don't pick until the 25th pick out of 31. So I'm not going to watch the draft like that, baby.
I don't care if you do. You can watch it if you want. As long as you don't subject me to it.
The first round lasts about 4 hours, 10 minutes in between each pick. The second round, which happens tomorrow, they get 7 minutes between each pick for the second round. The third round, they get 5 minutes in between each pick. And then on Saturday, 4 through 7, they only have 7 rounds. They get 5 minutes between each pick. 5 minutes to make, 100 picks or something like that. So in case you guys were wondering the schedule, okay, that's the schedule you could be on.
I want to share with you the 11 characteristics of leadership.
Okay.
The major attributes required in leadership, as written by Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich. The first is unwavering courage. The second is self-control. And you can stop me anytime you want to interject.
Yes, both of those first two, the unwavering courage and self-control, is the kind of courage and the kind of self-control that others can witness and notice. That's what he's talking about. People can notice you controlling yourself. You're not depending on every whim, okay? And people see you do a courageous thing. Okay, try again.
A keen sense of justice. Mm-hmm. Definitiveness of decision.
Mm-hmm. There's the adage, the winners make a decision quickly once they have all the information available. Once they know everything they need to know about it, they decide then. Unsuccessful people make decisions very slowly, and they change their minds often. Okay?
Absolutely. Definitiveness of plans. The habit of doing more than they are paid for.
It's been said before, you can't get paid more until you do more than what you're paid for. You can't get paid more for your job until you're doing more things than your job just requires. Then you can get paid more. The adage about if they start paying me more money, I'll start showing up to work on time is the exact opposite.
Sit down. A pleasing personality.
Yeah. Okay.
Sympathy and understanding.
Okay.
The mastery of detail. a willingness to assume responsibility, full responsibility.
That is major right there. It's one of the tenets of the men's meeting. You want to take as much responsibility for your life as possible. You can't take 100%, although we try. But you want to take as much responsibility for everything in your life as possible. To the degree, the higher percentage you can take responsibility, full responsibility, the more things you can control and the more things you can have that you like in your life.
And cooperation is the last one.
Cooperation.
I think it's
we had to
critical.
exercise cooperation before we put together the gazebo. Actually, another thing we did that we didn't say yet, we prayed for patience with each other.
Yeah, we did.
We asked for patience with each other because I know sometimes Lisa could be tripping, so I had to have some patience so I could start working with her. There goes the what?
The Knicks.
Oh, yeah.
Without a K.
Yeah, the Knicks. That's right. And I was so excited to find out when I got done with my workshop to see that the Knicks had won. Woo, woo. Yes. You should watch Stephen A. Smith's reaction. He's yelling and screaming, so happy that the Knicks won. It's just blue and orange skies. Blue and orange skies. Because that's the Knicks colors. That entertains, that excites you so much.
That I had to yawn.
That you had to yawn. That's right.
I am grateful that he can watch sports by himself and I don't have to.
You was talking earlier about me and my coffee, okay? You forget, or you probably didn't forget, but that was part of your move to get me in the first place.
I brought him a cup of coffee, and it was easy because he don't want nothing in his coffee.
But you noticed that I had made me 1 cup of coffee already, and I don't want cream and sugar and all that stuff in my coffee. But to me, you make a good cup of coffee by pouring it in a cup and then walking away. And as I was going through my work day or something I was doing, I needed a cup of coffee. I wanted a cup of coffee.
We were at the gas station.
No. Was it a gas station? I thought it was at the first workshop.
No, you had a cup of coffee for the first workshop. You did that.
And I thought you did get me the second cup.
At the gas station.
I think it was at the workshop. Okay. Gas station? No.
Yeah, we went to get gas after the first day.
I know we did, for sure, but I'm sure you made me a cup of coffee before we went and got gas someplace.
All right.
Okay.
Sister Barbara says, I only watch the Carolina Panthers. So you only watch football?
Okay.
Okay.
I love basketball and football. I mean, I like playoff NBA, pro basketball. I like the tournament in college, the NCAA tournament. That's all. And all of pro football. That's it. That's all. Only a little bit of sports for me.
Yeah, sports.
Everything to do with football.
Everything from September to May.
June.
To June.
Mm-hmm.
From September to June.
Yeah.
So that only leaves July and August. That's
Where's
it.
dog days with no sports?
And I don't feel that. I think you find sports. I don't remember any time.
I know there's
really
no sports in July and August.
You find something.
I can't
or
wait
some
for like
to watch or
the
something.
last weekend of August is what I'm looking forward to. I'll watch the elephant documentary. There's an elephant documentary now on Hulu. I'm gonna watch that stuff. I like that kind of stuff. But that's not the same thing as sports.
No, but sometimes you're the stereotypical grandfather that they used to write about in books that I used to read when I was young.
What do you mean, Lisa?
That the grandfather is watching the Nature Channel or watching sports and reading the paper.
Yes, I like to watch the Nature Channel. The Nature Channel teaches me a lot. I watch the Nature Channel.
I don't not like it, but I'm saying like you would choose it.
I watch it every day.
Yes, I know.
Every day I watch something nature. Before I go to bed very often if I hadn't caught something during the course of the day. Every day I'm gonna watch wild dogs or ants or porpoises or something. Every day, fastest predators. Every day I'm ingesting something.
Sister Barbara says she stopped watching basketball after Charles Barkley retired.
Wow. You're telling on yourself, sis. Charles ain't played in 30 years. You tell
Good morning, Stephanie.
Good morning, Stephanie Morris. How are you doing this morning? Organized planning.
Organized planning. Begin
plan
with
your
the
work.
end in mind. Begin with the end in mind.
And plan your work and work your plan.
Plan your work. Plan your book. Plan your launch.
Plan your life.
Plan your life. Planning is necessary, and not just trivial planning, but organized planning.
And organized planning leaves room for pivots and shifts when you find another way or a better way.
Yes.
Okay. You can't get stuck in your plan. I'm going to do just this right here. And then your marketplace showed you something that's more profitable, maybe even more fun even. And you won't switch because that wasn't a part of your initial plan. Your initial plan, you don't know enough.
Rigidity.
Yeah, because you don't know enough to be rigid in your first plan. There's stuff that your marketplace will teach you once you start moving. I just scratched my elbow and realized how my chest is swollen up.
Lord.
Did you see it on the screen, baby? Did you see it? I scratched my elbow as I've been working out. Yesterday I got on my weight bench in the garage, and I have these 30-pound dumbbells, each 30 pounds, and I inclined my bench and I knocked it out right before dinner. So my chest is probably still a little bit swollen from yesterday, y'all. Forgive me for hulking out on the show. Once I get into this, I'm going to be that dude for Lisa. Where I'm going to keep talking about exercising and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Get ready, Lisa.
Yes.
Did y'all see that on the show? Oh, look at it.
An important part of your organized planning is understanding your purpose. And today's card is purpose, coming from the Beauty Cards deck. And it is, why are you here?
Oh.
What gets your juices flowing? It can be quite simple and may not even seem that important. What if your purpose is to fish or to play? Enjoy. It does not have to be complex. It only has to be real and true. Following purpose leads you home.
Amen. That's one of the most important things in my book, 932, the 9 most important words, the 3 most important skills, and the 2 most important questions. That is one of the most important questions. Why are you here? We each have a unique mixture of gifts, skills, and talents and interests. There's a unique mixture in Lisa. There's a unique mixture in you that, unlike anybody else, but you have your ingredients of your gift, skills, and talents and interests. And with what you have, your concoction of gift, skills, talents, and interests, you're supposed to do something with it. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know why you're here based upon what you have, your life's goal should be to find why you're here. You need to try different things until you figure out why you're here. Find out what stirs your passion, what boils your belly, what moves you towards it. Discovering why you're here. That's one of the most important questions.
Absolutely.
Doing my second one. The 2 most important questions that I need to ask, why am I here? And the second most important question is, whom am I here to serve?
Absolutely.
Who am I here to serve?
That was a question that was raised to me today, is how do we expand our reach so that we can serve more people? That's actually the question.
Flip it. Okay, decide who we're here to serve. I describe you guys a lot because I think the regulars that come to the show are entrepreneurial. They're mature, they're loving, they're supportive, they're very, very smart. That's what I describe you guys as, because that's what I've seen over the years. But there's other entrepreneurial, mature, loving, supportive, and very, very smart people that don't even know about this show. Okay. And I
also want to say, you know what? And I think I have actually, I've hesitated in saying this because we do have some non-melanated viewers, but I think it's important to also say that the majority of our audience is also Black.
And they're also Black. Yeah.
And I think that's important. It's not to be overlooked. I don't think that there's anything wrong with the fact that the majority of our audience is Black. I think that's wonderful.
I like that we have a place that we can go to.
Absolutely.
With us.
Because it's not that we exclude people that are not Black. It's that we have assembled an amazing group of phenomenal people who happen to also be Black.
I ain't mad at it. I like it. So I like us.
And we welcome those that may not be.
Right. And we do welcome.
We welcome those that may not be.
Some of our most consistent members was like Melissa Price.
Absolutely.
Okay. But we haven't seen her that much lately. But she's been around long enough to get a song. She's been rocking with the show for years, really. Mm-hmm. At least 4 years. Melissa's been involved.
At least 4, yeah. And we're grateful for her commitment to the show. We look forward to seeing her back again. We look forward to seeing all of those. Barbara goes on to say, following the correct recipe for a dish is a plan you must follow if you want to be right. Well, that depends if you're baking or cooking.
Okay.
Because I think baking requires more recipes than cooking
more
does.
Precise measurements and all that stuff for baking.
Yeah.
But cooking, you got to know what a teach is, and and you got to taste it and get a feel for it.
Absolutely.
This is missing something. This is missing something. You know what this needs? This needs a little more hot sauce in it. Yeah.
I think it is. I think it is definitely something to be said for having a taste or a touch for things.
Mm-hmm. I do too. So it's now 9:43, and what we're going to do, and we don't have a whole lot of them to do today. Does it look like we're going to do what we call our greeting songs and our greeting logos? These are for people that have been rocking with the show for a while, or have become consistent contributors to the show, and they've earned a greeting song and a greeting logo. Like, for example, Miss Phyllis has a greeting logo, and it goes, Miss Phyllis is here.
Miss Phyllis is here.
So clear the way.
Miss
Phyllis is here. Now we can all have a great day. Sister Barbara Mosley, you actually were the first one in the room today that we see. And because you were first, and because you have been coming regularly, it's time for us to get you a greeting song or greeting logo. So suggest something to us. Suggest it to Lisa or me in the inbox of a song that speaks to your spirit or genre of music or something that could be that we can listen to and find your jam in it.
Absolutely.
Like Shirley DeJohnette Wyatt. Shirley DeJohnette Wyatt will rock you, rock you. Shirley DeJohnette Wyatt will rock you, rock you. Shirley DeJohnette Wyatt was an interesting one for us because we were struggling finding her a greeting jam, and we asked one of our friends who happens to be in the music game to help us to find a jam, and she found it like in a day. And that's how we got that, because I wanted the Shirley, I wanted the DeJohnette and the Wyatt in it.
Good morning, Evan. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Deborah, healing, trauma, and deliverance coach.
Good morning, Brother Evan. You keep coming, you're gonna get you a jam.
Monica Allison is here. Did you send me back that revision?
Oops.
Moni in the middle. Where she at? In the middle. Moni in the middle. Where that at? In the middle.
Did you notice Lisa's move of, did you send me that revision? Wow. Scroll, baby. Is that Judy? Yes, this is Judy.
Oh, Judy, you're so fine. You're so fine. You blow my mind. Hey, Judy. Hey, Judy.
Hey, Judy. Hey, Judy. Scroll, baby.
Amen. Amen. William Brown is here.
Stephanie Mars has a jam too. She got a song, and it goes, Stephanie.
Life has new meaning to me.
There is beauty up above, and things we never take notice of. You wake up and Stephanie, you're in love. That's right. That's our girl, Stephanie.
That's right. William Brown is here.
We got a jam for William Brown, too. Yes. And it goes, good morning to our friend Bill. Nobody thinks like him still. We love him so, and we always will. Our friend Bill. Good morning to our friend Bill. And we did Dr. Deborah Dunstan.
Monica says, I said it. I did send it after Sunday. My mailbox was down for 2 days, and I'm still going through this stuff. Can you please resend it? I lost some mail.
Okay. Dr. Deborah says, now I'm ready to work after hearing my song. I'm glad your song helps you get ready to work.
And we're grateful that you spent a part of your morning with us today. We hope that you've taken some time before this morning. Oftentimes I say Sunday before the work week, that you start planning your week.
On the Sundays that I choose to do that, because I don't do it every Sunday, but on the Sundays that I choose to spend an hour or two preparing my work week,
it's a lot more productive.
Every time. Night and day more productive.
What does a clue look like?
Yes. And it typically takes about 2 hours or less. Mm-hmm. Between 1 and 2 hours on Sunday, planning, preparing. Every time I do that, I have a much more productive week.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
if you haven't done that, take some
4 and 6 or 5 and 7 on a Sunday.
If you have not planned for the whole week on Sunday, take some time before you start the day to plan your day.
Yes.
So that it doesn't just get consumed with reaction or things that are urgent but not important.
Whoop. That's an important reminder.
Understand, we do have to cover that again. Mm-hmm. It is important to work on the things that are important but not urgent.
Yep.
And when you're waiting or reacting, then unfortunately you end up putting out fires, and that's it.
Dr. Deborah says, I do that after dinner on Sunday.
That's a great time to do
I ended up saying something inadvertently last night on my training that just transformed the room. I was talking about, you're not paying the price to get the results you want. I need you guys to start enjoying the price you pay. Oh, wow. Enjoy the price that we pay instead of paying the price. Yes, I want you to start enjoying the price of planning, enjoying learning, enjoying making that call, enjoying the process of following up with your clients, enjoying it instead of begrudging it, making it like work and all that stuff.
And focus on productivity, not just activity.
Yeah. There's only a few things that really make you money as an entrepreneur.
Focus on those things.
Of all the stuff that you can, but there's a lot of stuff you can do during the day. If you're a full-time entrepreneur, there's a lot of stuff you can
Shuffling papers, rewriting to-do lists,
rereading this, adding this, checking social media, making posts. There's a lot of stuff you could do that don't make money for you. Here's what makes money for you. There's about 6 things. That's it. Prospecting, actually looking for someone to serve. Presenting, actually showcase what you have. Delivering what you sold, like coaching or whatever it is. Following up with somebody. Studying. And did I miss anything? Prospecting, presenting, closing, going through the activity of closing. Prospecting, presenting, closing, following up, delivering, and studying. That's about it. Everything else is preparing you to go to work, but not actual work.
Absolutely. Barbara says, when you plan your day, work your plan for that day. Amen.
Amen.
And Stephanie, that's right. Ooh, enjoy the process. That's right. Enjoy the process.
Mm-hmm.
We get to enjoy the process of preparing to come and share with you each day. This journey through Think and Grow Rich has been a wonderful one. Are we going to stay on and go to principle number 7 for tomorrow?
No, I think we got some other notes. I made some notes. We're going to pick that up on Monday, okay. But there was something else I want to cover. But we will. We'll get them all done. So.
Absolutely. We look forward to it. We'll see you tomorrow on Let's Talk About It right here at the Empowerment Network. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Don't forget to subscribe.